Hey, this is a walk and a talk with Burger. Hope everyone's doing really well. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. It's about 9:30 in the morning. Beautiful snowy day in a park called Riley Park. You can see it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to post some of these because I think this is something that we all need to do, is do a walk and a talk. This world is getting crazy, and we need to return to something like that, something traditional, something that's nice, to just go for a walk and a talk together, to talk about things, to figure things out. Now you'll notice I'm limping. Little note about me is I tore my Achilles playing basketball a few weeks ago. So this is a walk and a limp a little bit. But I posted something a while back about the Freedom Convoy. That was kind of a well-received video. And now that COVID is suddenly over, the Ukraine scenario is in play. And one thing that I think is a big deal is that I can't really trust a lot of what's going on in regards to the media as well as our governments. So I think it's really important to go for their walks and talks together as the snow gathers in my beard, so we can discuss things that we seek out ourselves to figure things out. And I think a big part of that too is that I'm 48. My birthday was actually yesterday. So why should I be talking about these things? What right do I have to be talking about it? Well, I think I've got perspective, and particularly people my age. I remember when there was no internet. I remember when there was no Google or Facebook and so on. And so to gather information was really difficult. Now we have these amazing tools to literally gain information from all over the world and be able to communicate with each other all over the world. And we have to leverage this to discuss topics. A quote that I'm going to be using and kind of a theme, it was by Maisels, a filmmaker, and it was, tyranny is the deliberate removal of nuance. And so we need to have nuanced conversations where we can discuss things with people and go for this walk and a talk and enjoy the surroundings. So what I've done in looking into the Ukraine situation is I've looked into a number of different sources. I'll tell you, mostly online. I'm not reading a lot of books. I'm utilizing the internet heavily, but trying to search through things from varied opinions. So this is my understanding generally, and what I think is what's happening historically, current, and what I think maybe should be done. And maybe you can do a walk and a talk back. Man, it's beautiful out. Holy, the frost on the trees is gorgeous. So, first of all, in regards to Ukraine, from my understanding, is a pretty mixed population of Ukrainians and Russians. And the reason being is that throughout varied world wars in the past, apparently Russia had put in a lot of people, Russian people, to kind of integrate with Ukraine, to kind of subvert the Ukrainians and have Russians be within their population and thus kind of take over from within. Well, this happened a long time ago. So this is kind of an explanation of just why there's that mixed cultures. And who cares why they did it? If it was good, bad, if they did it for purposes of trying to take over Ukraine by supplanting Ukrainians and having Russians propagate throughout, it doesn't matter. That happened a long time ago. They're there, they're all together. So, and there's nothing negative about mixing cultures whatsoever. So regardless of the reasons, and those people who made those decisions all those years ago are dead and gone. So if it was for nefarious reasons, who cares? They're there now. So we've got Ukraine, which is this mixed combination of Ukrainians as well as people who do identify as Russians. And the fact of the matter is, what has occurred more recently, from my understanding, is there was an actual coup, and this is not what's being portrayed in the media, in 2014, which was backed by the United States. This is the era of Obama and, at that time, Vice President Biden. So they had a coup in the Ukraine, put in a new government. Now, I'm not sure if it was Zelensky at that point in time or not. But what ended up happening in 2014 is that when they did do the coup and they brought in the new powers, there was a lot of violence towards the Russians. Now, this is absolutely true, and there's some horrific stories about it. I'm not going to go into that, and you can look into that yourself. So Obama said, you know what, this is not going too well, because what happened is that the US was providing weapons and cash and such for this coup. And then once it turned ugly, wisely, Obama said, you know what, this is not working out the way I expected, and pulled out. There was then the opportunity of peace with in 2015 with something called the Minsk Accord, in which peace was going to be offered to because the Russians have moved to the Donbas region, which we've heard about quite a bit. So this was going to be offered, but Zelensky, who I believe was in at the time, was receiving pressure internally from people in the government to not make peace with the Donbas region, which was now mostly prevalent with the Russian population. So due to the fact that he was receiving that pressure, the Minsk Accord or Minsk Agreement was not successful. Then we have big orange man Trump coming into play. He gets in office, and people are claiming that he is pro-Russian. So as a sign of what he's going to do to show that he's not a Russian stooge, is he does begin to provide weapons and cash as well to Ukraine in regards to fighting this Donbas conflict. So there's been a war going on interiorly, that's a proper word, with Ukraine and the Donbas region for the last 8 years. This is something that hasn't really been talked about very much. This has been a pretty serious conflict. So now we come to where we're at basically now. Biden comes into power, voted in. And what happens at this point in time is Zelensky, right as Biden was voted in, whether that's a coincidence or not, he gets rid of 3 Russian television stations, as well as jails a number of the opposing government, who what I've heard is were pro-Russian. So there we've got our buddy Putin on his side looking at this saying, I don't like the looks of this. And so away we go with his concocting this nonsense in going into the Ukraine. So this is where we stand right now, is that we've got Russia invading Ukraine. The Ukrainian people are absolutely defending their area. There's a lot of information stating how great and wonderful the Ukrainians are and how evil and horrible Putin is. All may be very well true. Some might be not so true. I don't know. That's why we're having this little walk and talk. But what seems clear to me is that there's 2 goals here. 2 main goals of 2 different areas. Putin in Russia would just certainly love to reclaim all of the Ukraine as Russian. And the United States and the Western world, I would say mainly the United States, would love for Ukraine to become a member of NATO. So this provides some problems there. Putin and Russia do not want a NATO ally right on their border. And certainly the Western world does not want Russia to reclaim the Ukraine. So these are the 2 sides of which they would like to have happen. Now, if I looked at it from my nuanced position, is I would say we want to make this a neutral area. state, okay, let's negotiate this. Let's have a nuanced discussion, negotiate this, and create the Ukraine as a neutral area where it's not a NATO ally nor a Russian country or within Russian occupation. Now, this may be something that would be an agreement that goes on for 5 years, 2 years, who cares? If we can kick this can down the road so people aren't getting killed, let's get it done. Let's get it done. So the thing with the media here is I see that there has been no real portrayal of how long this war has been occurring internally between Ukraine and the Donbas region. So we don't really have a full picture. So we're just saying, all right, let's go get them, let's go get in there, let's fight this out, let's kick Putin, while all the while people are going to be killed and hurt. Let's have this discussion, let's have this nuanced situation and figure this out if at all possible. Have us walk and a talk and see if we can get it done. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully you've enjoyed this background. It's beautiful out. And let's see if we can get some peace in our time. And remember, tyranny is the deliberate removal of nuance. Have a great day.